The Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders launch tonight, and if you want to get your hands on this system, we need to talk about where you are going to be able to do that. So there's been a whole debacle about the Switch 2 pre-orders. Everybody that is interested in this is aware of this fact. I already made a video breaking down the things that have gotten more expensive after the little hiatus for pre-orders. The console itself is not changing. The Switch itself is still $450, and the Switch Mario Kart bundle is still $500. But you need to know where you're actually going to be able to get this console for pre-order and what time it is all going to actually go live for each individual distributor. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the Nintendo website. I talked about this in my last video talking about pre-orders, that this is a first come first serve basis. You are able to register through your Nintendo account and be able to put into a drawing on who will be able to actually get the system. However, there are requirements. The first batch of invitations start going out on May 8th from Nintendo, and this batch of emails will be sent out periodically, and it'll be on a first come first serve basis, like I said, who meet the criteria. People that are purchasing through this method need to have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, meaning if you're in a family plan, you need to be the one paying for the family plan. You must have paid the Nintendo Switch Online membership for a minimum of 12 months, and you must have opted to share your gameplay data and have at least 50 hours total of gameplay. This is really important. If you don't meet this criteria, this is not something that's going to be very effective for you to get your Nintendo Switch. Not to mention that this has been live since the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, so a lot of people have already registered for this, and this being a first come first serve basis means that this is not super likely that you're going to be able to get your hands on it through this method, so the other retailers are going to be your best bet. So the big things that we're going to be focusing on are Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and GameStop as of right now. Amazon doesn't seem to be getting any sort of pre-orders. They've had some issues in the past where they have put games out early before street date, and as a result of that, Nintendo has just kind of stopped letting them do pre-orders and stopped giving them access to early stuff. So it doesn't seem super likely that you'll be able to get a ton of the new games and the console through Amazon. It'll probably be there after the launch, but as far as pre-orders go, it doesn't seem super likely that we are going to get anything, and nothing has been announced of that sort. But Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and GameStop are all really important here. So first and foremost, let's talk about Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. All of those are launching tonight at midnight. That is midnight Eastern Standard Time. So you're going to be able to get on the website and be able to get access to the Nintendo Switch console through these at midnight tonight. GameStop is a little bit different, and that's why I did not include it with these three. So you're going to want to be sitting there ready to rock and roll when midnight rolls around on whichever platform you're going to try. Maybe you're trying all three. You got a laptop, you got a PC, you got a phone, whatever the case may be, and you're trying to hit all three at once to secure a pre-order. That is the best plan of action. Midnight tonight, there will be bundles on Best Buy for different options. Maybe you want the Pro Controller and stuff. Best Buy has a handful of different bundle options. Walmart seems to just have the console, the Mario Kart World Bundle, and then the accessories as well as some amiibos. And Target is the same as Walmart, just the console, MK bundle, accessories, and amiibos. It seems Best Buy is the only one that's like bundling certain stuff. Like I saw there was some console with Donkey Kong Bonanza that is a bundle, or the console with a Pro Controller that was a bundle. They have a handful of different options, but all of those launch at midnight tonight. And the websites are going to be super overloaded, so you're going to have some patience, because people are going to be just flocking to these websites to try and get a pre-order, whether it be scalpers or real people. That is the fact of the matter, is that people are going to be just jumping on top of these pre-orders, so you need to be aware of that. Have some patience. Try to be careful with resetting too much. It can potentially block you if they put some sort of barrier on the website. I know a lot of companies do that, like Pokemon with trading card game launches will lock you if you do too many clicks too fast on their website, because they think you're a bot. So you got to be a little careful with some of this, but midnight tonight for those three locations. Now GameStop is a little bit different here. GameStop is actually launching their pre-orders online and in store. What are you looking at, Link? He's so happy to be hearing about the Switch 2. GameStop is launching their pre-orders at 11 a.m. tomorrow, that being the 24th, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, in stores and online. And GameStop has confirmed that online is going to be a line. You're gonna get on the website, it's gonna put you in a line to pre-order, and once your turn is up in the line, you'll be able to make your pre-order. That way it helps their servers on their website and they don't crash everything. I think this is a pretty good system from them, but also you will be able to do pre-orders in store, which I think is another important thing. I personally my game plan is I'm going to try and get a pre-order online tonight, and then also get a pre-order in store tomorrow at GameStop. And that way, if I can get both, I can cancel one of them and just keep the one that I want. That way I have my system secured. That's going to be my plan of attack. I'm going to try and get one through Walmart, Best Buy, or Target tonight, and then try to go to GameStop tomorrow morning right as they open and get a pre-order for the Switch 2 through GameStop. I think this is the best course of action personally. I drove by my GameStop earlier. There's nobody sitting outside waiting for this. I don't think they're letting people sit outside for this. I called my local GameStop yesterday. They actually didn't even know the stock number that they had. They said their meeting was going to be today regarding stock. So they didn't even know how many pre-orders they were going to have available in store. That's another thing you have to consider if you're going to the store to pre-order your Switch 2 console. They don't know, at least most of the stores I'd assume are following the same plan. They don't have a whole lot of information until today. It seems like today they were having meetings regarding stock and how much they're going to have, so that way they know how many pre-orders they can allow in store. So that is something you need to know as well. Each GameStop is likely going to have a limit on how many consoles they actually have at launch. So definitely something to know. The rumor was there was going to be 100 Switch consoles per GameStop store, but it is up in the air if that was factual or not. So definitely take that with a grain of salt. You want to be sure that you can try and get a pre-order online and in person. I think that's going to be your best course of action to secure it, because you can go ahead and cancel whichever one you don't want. Another thing to note is that GameStop's actually doing a pretty decent trade-in deal for the Nintendo Switch 2. If you trade in your old Nintendo Switch, you are going to be able to get a decent chunk of change. Looking at the OLED, you're going to get $175 back in store credit. If you trade in the standard Switch model, you're going to get $125. And if you trade in the Switch Lite, you're going to get $100. This is a pretty good trade-in deal. The one thing I will say, this is a good deal with an asterisk, because of the fact that your Nintendo Switch has certain games that may not be able to transfer save data through the cloud. Looking at games like Pokemon and Animal Crossing, there are specific requirements in order to trade those game save data over to a new console that you need the original console in order to do. So if you're looking to trade over save data for things like Animal Crossing, things like Pokemon, you're going to still need your original Switch when you have your Switch 2 to transfer those over. So that is something to note in regards to trade-ins with GameStop for the Nintendo Switch. If you want to have that data for certain games and don't want to have to restart, you are going to need your original Nintendo Switch. The only two that I am confident that require this are Animal Crossing New Horizons and Pokemon games, whether it be Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield. The Pokemon games do not support cloud save. So if you want those saves on a new system, you're going to need that system when you have your Switch 2. That is just something to know. If you don't have any of those games, if you don't care about that, then you could trade in your Switch, and I think this is a really good deal here. So that pretty much covers everything right now. The Nintendo official website stuff goes out May 8th, and they will start sending out emails everywhere else, being Walmart, GameStop, Target, and Best Buy are starting tomorrow. They're all starting at different times, which I'll have on screen here, but they are all starting tomorrow. So make sure you get your pre-orders if you're excited, or if you're going to just wait out the Nintendo one, those will not start for a couple weeks still. So you'll get that a little bit later if you are selected in that drawing. So that is what you need to know regarding the Switch 2 pre-orders. Let me know in the comments below what you plan to pre-order, if you're getting some accessories, if you're just getting the console, if you're getting the bundle. I think everybody's going to go for the bundle personally, but let me know your thoughts. That is it for this one, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Nintendo Switch stuff from me in the future. But until next time, peace.